There is a halacha that we are all familiar with when it comes to Shabbos. When it comes to our Shabbos Sudas, our Shabbos meals, we make the bracha of Hamotzi over 2 whole loaves, 2 whole challahs. At each one of the meals, we have 2 challahs that we make Hamotzi on. And this is learned out from the Gemara Maseches Brachos and Maseches Shabbos that explains that this is based on our Parshas Beshalach, when the Bnei Yisrael, when the Jewish people were given sustenance in the Midbar, Hashem gave us the man. And there was enough man for each family, for each person, for every day. But you weren't allowed to take extra. You took for that day and that day alone. If you did take extra, it ended up spoiling and it became full of worms. But then, on the Yom HaShishi, on the 6th day, the day before Shabbos, there was a tremendous amount of man that fell enough for people to have a double portion. And the miracle that took place, as opposed to a regular day, where immediately after the day had passed, it would become spoiled. The miracle that took place was that this man remained fresh, it didn't spoil, and there were no worms, so that people were able to eat it on Shabbos. Therefore, the Gemara explains that we have 2 whole loaves as a zecher to the double portion of man that Hashem gave to the Jewish people in the Midbar. And the Orchas Chaim of Rabbi Aaron of Lonil, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, suggests something else, a different angle, which is that there is a custom that people have as when it comes to making the bracha of Hamotzi, cutting one challah for sure, but there is a custom that the other challah is left to the side and the other challah is not cut. The other challah is simply left there. And I remember growing up as a child, my father's Zichrono Livracha used to make Hamotzi on one challah, and there was a big challah, and there was a challah roll that was always on the side. My father never cut it. I don't think it was intentional. I think my mother had wanted to just have one challah, but that challah roll was just left to the side. So the Orchas Chaim explains that there is such a custom, such a practice, and the reason for that practice is the following. To have 2 loaves, that's a zecher, that's a remembrance to the double portion. To have the 1 loaf that you don't cut, he says that's a zecher, that's a remembrance to the fact that that second portion did not spoil and did not have any worms, and therefore that was a miracle that took place itself that sometimes we don't pay enough attention to. And I want to suggest that maybe there's also another beautiful idea that's connected to this, which is we go through the entire week and many of times we become a little bit disconnected with our spirituality, with our connection to Hashem, with our learning, with our mitzvos, because we're involved in matters of business and personal relationships, and all kinds of things happen throughout the week. And sometimes we're worried, did I spoil over the course of this week? Did my ruchnius, did my connection with Hashem spoil? Did it end up becoming wormy? And then we come to the table on Shabbos, and we recognize, we look at these chavlas, and they're shleimim, they're whole, they're full. And we even leave one over according to this opinion. So that really is a message to us. The Kodesh Baruch Hu says to us, you're keeping Shabbos, you're coming to the Shabbos meal. Recognize, even if there has been a distance between you and me over the course of the week, but you come to the Shabbos table, inside you remain shalom, you remain whole. And that notion should reinvigorate us, re-energize us when it comes to our commitment to Hashem, not only for Shabbos, but for the coming week. Shabbos is the start of the new weeks, and may we be zoche that when we look at our challahs that we make hamotzi on this Shabbos, we think about not just how they taste, but we think about what they represent, and thereby we will be able to recognize our close connection and appreciation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on a regular basis on Shabbos Kodesh and into the week as well. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.